All right, welcome back, everyone, to Total Nonstop Impact. Impact talk for Impact fans. Look at this. I haven't been on the show barely lately, and I forget my own intro. It's just that this is how we're wrapping the year, folks.
It's a wrap for the bone, man.
It's a wrap for the bone, man. It just, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. But we're happy to be here. We are sadly without Alicia. She's got stuff going on, but hey, it's the year end. It's people got holiday stuff. They're planning. They're wrapping up their stuff for their own families and everything.
You never know. People come in and out. You get visitors during the holidays, so you never know. So us right now, people could pop in. You never know what could happen here on the TNI show.
Right.
Maybe we'll have a TNI Awards. TNI Award for Best Poppin'.
Oh, there you go. Now you're talking.
Critical. Well, before I get to Critical Sting, J-Bone, first we already have a super chat from Dr. Gerbs. Happy holidays. Thursday, our OT day, so no idea when I'll be around. AdvoCat 15, you know the rest for the Mad Cat's beard. Can you make it a New Year's resolution to get everyone this stuff? Got to trust those, trust that USPS, man. Make sure the stuff gets there in safe hands. Although we got to get I got to get Mr. Trent on the horn too. So we'll hopefully get that taken care of.
Oh, he'll definitely appreciate that.
Got to send it to witness protection. Critical Sting in the chat. Good thing Jay didn't miss any news or anything eventful in the past week.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, what we had.
Back up the bus. Back it up over J-Bone.
Nothing happened at
it isn't like hell froze over.
Final the final I was trying to come up with something catchy regarding her. I got nothing. I will confess, I have not watched all of Final Resolution. I did watch a bunch of clips, but let me tell you, I watched a good chunk of the Knockouts match, and of course, what happened after, or I should say, that match didn't even end, did it?
Well, it was a no contest.
Right. Because of the interference.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been a while. Sandy Cloth.
Sandy Claus.
I've never heard it called Sandy Cloth. It's for those with a speech impediment. No.
I thought it was like the Sham Wow.
It's a Sham Wow.
Buy right now. Get your Sandy Cloth. Wax on, wax off.
Oh man. But yeah, so I will give my hot take on the re-debut of that controversial knockout. We'll talk about some of our favorite stuff from the year, just random stuff, and we'll kind of make this a Q&A too. If you guys have any questions, by all means, throw them in the chat throughout, and we'll make it more about you guys than us, okay? Because I don't have much more to give this year. I really don't. So we would rather make it about you guys, our audience, and hey, whatever you guys got for us, we'll read. It's for the people. It's for the people, because we have the most amazing audience, right, Bill?
No doubt about it, J-Bone.
We love our audience. Now, before we dive into anything, I do want to do a little share screen-a-rooney here. Actually, no, I'm just going to upload the picture. That's probably the easiest way for me to do this.
The tease, the share screen-a-rooney tease.
Yeah, I know. Ooh, what's he sharing? Oh, no,
ain't sharing. Squatta.
I'm going to share what Trent actually shared with us in our private chat, and I did not see this. And it shows our progress for the year. Now, by all means, this is not bragging, okay? This is just sharing the progress. No, Keith, we did not do any news yet. We'll get to some stuff in a little bit. But just to show, because of you guys, this is more about you guys that you have helped us grow. Okay, so that's what this is on like our YouTube. So thank you to our new subscribers that we've gotten this year. You know, you win some, you lose some, whatever. We got 252 new subscribers this year. We had almost 58,000 views of all the stuff we did. We did over 170 uploads. That's between us and the UK guys. Almost 3,800 likes. You guys commented over 400 times, you know, so you guys are interacting with us. That's great. And that's typically like post-show stuff is what it's talking about, I think. Because that's about what we get for like each show live, honestly. And then over 600 shares. And this, I hate to chuckle, but this was our most viewed video this year was Scott Demore getting fired.
It was a big story. It was a big story.
It was a big story. It was like, oh.
And as we get into it, I think the thing that shows is, does the TNI fam, does the audience, because we've dabbled with that before, J-Bone, do they want more breaking news TNI shows?
Yeah.
And
that's hard to do
at times. Well, it's tough to get people, but hey, with this new setup, they might be solo shows, they might be 2-person shows, just to get it going. But maybe that's something we'll do. Once again, short, 30-minute at max news shows.
Yeah.
If that's what the people want, we're talking. It's about the people, J-Bone. Then we can obviously add that maybe to the repertoire.
There we go. So yeah.
Oh, look at Keith. We might be the longest show since The Simpsons. We put in all the minutes that we stream.
I was trying to think the other day, like how long we've been doing this. It's give or take about 5 or 6 years now, I think.
Time flies.
It's about that, because
I joined during the pandemic, like early in the pandemic.
Yeah, and
there was nowhere to be.
It was like 2018 or 2019? What was the Bound for Glory in Chicago? What year was that? Because that was like right after I joined this one.
Let's see. Bound for Glory 19, I'm thinking. Critical Sting's there. He's thinking about it somewhere.
There we go. What's up, Ash? How you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're well.
Got
with whatever projects you're working on. Yeah. And Hakeem.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
Now, T. Hughes in the Twitch says, poor Leon Slater. Did he get injured or something?
No. Well, he's talking about he's an award winner.
Oh.
And he's got the award that's like the modern Madden curse. One to watch because one to watch tends to get injured.
Oh,
So
no.
Don't wish that voodoo on him.
Oh, that's right. Kylan King got voted it, and then she
got voted and then like immediately got hurt.
Wow. Okay. I did see a notification pop up on my Facebook tab just as we were going live that Jordan Grace's knockout of the year. It's really no surprise. Correct. Okay, Critical Sting says 2019 at the Odeum. Okay, so 2019.
My memory's still intact.
Yeah, it was it was just before that I joined the show, and or within a year of that, I think it was. I forget. I don't know. But yeah, man, what a trip, man. What a ride it's been.
Wild times on the TNI show.
What so Bill, let me ask you this, man. Do you feel like some years feel like they're just kind of like coasting along for TNA? Some years feel like it's like, oh, this was really a boom year, a lot happened. What do you feel like 2020? And by all means, folks, put it in the chat. Let us know what you think too, because I'm kind of back and forth on it. So I want to see what Bill's take is on this. What do you feel like 2024 has been for TNA? Do you feel like it's been a year for growth? Do you feel like they were just kind of along this year? What do you feel like?
J-Bone, I would say this is probably the biggest year for TNA growth.
Okay.
In quite some time. I'd say during the whole Anthem era. Because we got to start with the beginning of the year, the return of the TNA name.
This is true.
That
was this year, wasn't it?
That was January. So they started with the return. Well, technically, it was announced at the end of last year, but that was the return of the TNA proper as a show.
Right, because that was at the Bound for Glory show that we were at. Correct. That was nuts. That was incredible.
The announcement and then the actual branded company return in January. So there was that. Obviously, you had the Scott D'Amore stuff, but I think you've seen it as we now are going into 25. Like all the sellouts this year. Not that they had some sellouts before that, but the most sellouts. The NXT relationship working with WWE. The return of the Hardys, the Joe Hendry viral effect, and that they are now selling tickets and booking venues in 10,000 plus TV tapings.
I know, that's wild. I can't believe it.
They're going there, man. Like they're going to a level now. Once again, now next year could even surpass this. But if you talk about growth potential, this year, and like obviously, look, there's obviously been a lot of changes, infrastructure wise, in the company. But yeah, it's Keith, it was wonderful,
wonderful. Barry Monkey here on the Twitch says TNA has been steadily growing, most undramatically, which is fine.
Yeah, I think it depends on what type of fan. Obviously, we know that.
What's up, bud?
Like we know we have a lot, especially that join the chat and things like that, that are very hardcore TNA fans.
Yeah.
So if you're a hardcore TNA fan, you know the product, especially like the live PLEs and things like that, have been very good quality during the Anthem era overall. So quality-wise, like wrestling show and matches and all that, you're probably like just as good as it's been the last couple of years. And that would be a very accurate assessment. I think it's a lot of behind the scenes. It's a lot of expanding. Now, once again, TNA is very tough to judge on like TV ratings because of just they're very locked in with AXS TV in so many homes. You're only going to do so many. But let's not also forget a lot of movement on TNA Plus this year. Because remember, they were on YouTube. They're not anymore. They sunset the YouTube membership to the Plus app. So now the Plus app is a much more featured item going forward, and streaming. And once again, that the new boss, which is once again like Anthony's still like the TNA president, but he's reporting to a guy that's not really there for like the day to day. He's there. His job is to sell the company abroad. Like he's there to go get that UK deal. He's there to probably get another network deal and a streaming deal. And that's where, like, by where they're trying to go next year, that those are all barometers they need to hit.
Yeah. And I think they will. You know, they get the right people, that have. And I'm not saying that Scott D'Amore wasn't ambitious, but I feel like he was more ambitious towards the show itself and not the company.
And that's a wrestling guy. And that's what he should focus on. And that's where he's gonna be. Like these guys, that's what they do. They're TV people. They're like they're media people. Like that's who you need. Like you look at the company up north. They're lawyers. They're this. They're that. Like that. There's reasons. Like these people are in these roles. Like it's business. That is pure business. But yet they still have the people that know wrestling involved. I think the trouble probably was, and there was no way out of it, is once they kind of promoted Scott to the role he was in, he was kind of in charge of everything. So then it became a tough place to kind of get beyond a certain point, business-wise, on how they want the movement. Because if there was an agreement, you saw what happened.
Exactly. Yeah, Norris here. Good, great examples. The TNA really started to expand fast after Scott D'Amore was let go. Yeah, honestly.
Well, yeah, there were different opinions on how they should move forward. And remember, we were in Chicago. We were constantly hearing rumors of, maybe a short run for CM Punk and like big names. Like remember Mercedes Moné, like all these ones, like maybe throw big money at them. From what we heard, the deals, crazy money deals that these people like. Sadly, money deals that could bankrupt a company like TNA if they fell through. Like you can't invest $5 million in someone that doesn't move a needle, and like that would not be good business.
Honestly, hindsight being 2020, and I'm not saying it's all on the individual's fault, but if you look at what some of these people did for the shows that they're on now, like I think Punk did fine for where he's at right now. I think he's moving WWE in the right direction.
His only thing, remember, he got injured very quickly once he went. So that kind of stalled momentum. But but overall, he was obviously, once he left, you saw what happened to a lot of the attendance and ratings. So that's a proven draw.
Yeah.
There's not many proven draws in this business today.
Right. And then you look at some of the other hype that was going on while Trinity was in TNA, and which, by the way, I still say she was bar none one of the best knockouts we've had within the last few years. She really, she impressed the hell out of me. You know,
major
she
asset.
Really did. Yeah. But I'd say not getting Mercedes Moné was honestly a win.
That seems like, and once again, you never know what's actually true, but based on the rumblings of what that contract was,
Yeah.
If that was anywhere close to what a TNA would have offered, like that feels like a thing that could put you out of business, a deal like that. Because you need so much revenue to make up for that. Like, if you're just burning money and you don't need it, then so be it. Like, you can do whatever you want with it. But if you need that return on investment, those things can really they can cripple you. And like, you look at really good examples right now is something like the Hardys. Like, the Hardys are like, they're proving to be, they sell tickets. Like, they are a draw. There's not many draws in wrestling. Like I said, overall, you can have a hot product, but draw-wise, there's not many.
Yeah. This is an interesting opinion, and I'm not saying you're right or you're wrong. I just want to put this out here. I clicked on the wrong one. My bad. Norris says they should have tried harder to sign Camille, not Ash by Elegance. That's interesting, because I look at what Camille's done in AEW so far, and it's not much. But see, that's another thing. You can't blame that on the individual. You got to blame that on the company. You know what I mean? But I also think Ash has been really good. When I heard she was coming to TNA, I was very excited, because
I feel like you're looking for Ash. Like, her character work has been fantastic,
right?
So I think she's been a good asset. Like, I think Camille is someone that could thrive in TNA. I thought that the whole time. And who knows? Like, because at least right now that hasn't worked for her. I don't know what the deal is and if she could become available again at some point. But once again, I think that was, you looked around the landscape. There was that connection while NWA was working with them. And obviously we know money just flows over there.
Yeah.
And you look at it, like, the Hardys were there. Like it's one of those things, like, you go get that payday if it's there. Like, you can't blame people, but like, that's someone that had a lot of momentum, obviously, in NWA. It's stalled to almost nothing right now. Like, and now it feels like, I think she's written off TV. So
speaking of, I just got this today. I know you're not supposed to shop for yourself right before Christmas.
Oh.
But so technically this is going underneath the tree. But I found this at my local Meijer store, and I had to get it. It's one half of the TNA. Tag team champs right there. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeffrey Nero.
Yep. Jeff Hardy. Yep. Yep. They had a few good ones there. They had Wheeler Yuta. They also had Jamie Hayter, but I only got Jeff. So
you gotta get Jeff when you see him.
Yep. So had to show off that one. I don't care if it's an AEW figure. He's in TNA now, so it's like whatever.
Well, and speaking of, that's something that, once again, like, they now have what I guess maybe like their third shirt. Like, if I'm TNA right now, you produce whatever you can with the Hardys on there right now.
Hell yeah.
I know people are you just showed one. I know you're Mr. Action Figure, J-Bone. I think we need to start having some real conversations on how TNA goes about this, because maybe you do need to do like Myers and Cardona and do the bendies, or you need something that you can get out quick. Like these 100-point articulation figures that take 2 years to develop and get out, and nobody's on the roster anymore when they come out. Like Major League did that, and that blew up in their face, and now it feels like TNA is going to have that blow up in their face for at least some of these people, because there's a good chance Jordan and Josh aren't even there at the point where these come out.
By the time they come out, I mean, I
So,
think they'll still be great in the collection, considering where they're gonna end up. And
but like if you
it'll
made a
be
major bendy or whatever, something you could hand out with Jeff Hardy at a TNA
yeah.
show, every kid would buy that, or their parents would buy them for every kid.
Well, like I saw, I don't remember what website it was, but somebody's still selling a Trinity, bendy, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." You know, that's kind of a unique thing because she was
Yeah,
only with the company for what 6 months,
yeah,
but still made, pardon the pun, she made quite the impact.
she did. No,
Um,
no, great run, great short run.
yeah. Oh, but I just wanted to go back to Ash just for a minute, and then we'll continue. I just wanted to finish my thought on that. Um, I saw what she was doing in the WWE, and I was like, man, you know, I I really liked seeing what she could do in the ring. I liked seeing what she could do charisma wise, character wise. Like even when she was doing stupid stuff by following, God, I can't even think of. She was following a tag team around. She was like their secretary or like their press person. It
Okay,
was Apollo Crews and the real. I can't think of the guy's name. The guy that fell underneath the ring. That guy.
ah,
Um, when they were a tag team, she was like their valet. And because I remember they came to Milwaukee and they did that for a dark match. And I was like, God, well, why isn't she wrestling? You know, I was like, what the hell? But it was still entertaining. But so, Titus O'Neil, thank you. I still think Titus O'Neil should have went back to more character work like Pancake. Oh, it was Pancake something. I can't think. He had a big ass fro, and I can't think of his name, but it was Pancake something. But it was absolutely hilarious. It was like Pancake Porterhouse or something like that. I don't know.
you just got pancakes on the mind,
It
J-Bone.
was ridiculous. Now I'm hungry. But yeah, so I saw what Ash was doing in WWE, and I couldn't wait till she got to TNA to see what she could do on her own. And it was like completely out of left field what she came up with. It was like, whoa, this elegance. What is this? It it's a Tony Storm ripoff. No, it's not. It's
Where's the Iceman when you need him?
right. It was so not even close to that. Tony Storm's character is like the ill-fated classic actress. Ash by elegance is someone that is just elegant, you know.
Yeah, she's the female version of like the model Rick Martel.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Give her all the foo-foo and everything. Yeah. The champagne and
$8,000 a bottle.
George is great following all that up. But yeah, so okay, so that's my take on her. So I feel like she's been a wonderful addition to the knockouts. And I'm glad they didn't like super, because there's so many times you get, new knockouts straight from the WWE and boom, they're champ 2 seconds later. They didn't do that with her. They just let the character evolve on its own and grow. And that's one of the best things they could have done this year. So I call that a major success.
Oh yeah. And needed in the knockouts division.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you needed something out in left field like that. Something that, so that, not that all the knockouts are the same by any means, but you needed something different, You
Well,
needed like,
I know
whoa.
there are a number of questions in the chat, but since we're talking knockouts and something the division needed, J-Bone, Should we get into the Tessa talk?
Yeah, I saw someone had a question here. Hang on. I don't want to get too far away because I did promise like the Q&A part.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of questions, but we didn't even really do news yet. So that's why.
We didn't. Let's do this and then we'll talk about Tessa. Who is your favorite NXT wrestler to cross over to TNA this year? That's a very interesting question. Thank you, Hakeem.
What do you think of J-Bone? Who's your personal favorite?
A majority of them have been women, but
yes, there were some men.
There have been a few men. So I'm gonna say,
I think I know who you're gonna say. I should write it
down. And this is sad. Now I'm brain farting and I can't think of the guy's name. It's William Regal's son,
Charlie Dempsey.
Charlie Dempsey, thank you. Charlie Dempsey. I'll say Charlie Dempsey for the guys because
all right. I know where you're going on the other side.
He only had a couple appearances. I also want to do honorable mention for who was the guy that was in the Ultimate X match? Was it Miles something? Something. He was part of the.
It was Osborne, right? From Chase U.
Yes. I want to give
Chase Osborne.
Chase Osborne. I want to give honorable mention to him because he was quite the star in that match. From what I remember. I'm gonna say
Riley Osborne. There you go.
Riley, that's it. Thank you.
Should be Chase Osborne.
It was from Chase U, but yeah. And here I was waiting for someone to say it in the chat. Here we go. Tatum Paxley. Yeah. I'd say Tatum Paxley because I see a lot of similarities to current women wrestlers.
J-Bone, I really thought you were going to go Sol Ruka. I really did.
Oh, yeah. I do like her. I am a big fan of her. I forgot about her.
I know you're a big fan of her. When she was on, you were giddy, I believe, I would say.
I was borderline giddy, yeah. So I'm okay. So I'm gonna say it's a tie between Tatum Paxley and Sol Ruka, just because Tatum Paxley's character I think is a lot of fun, and Sol Ruka's athleticism is just.
I'm gonna go a little outside the box on mine, J-Bud.
Okay.
I'm going Ariana Grace.
Oh.
And we do got the one, the only.
And speaking of,
Hello. Sorry, my headphones were.
You got the headphones back.
Sup, Alicia? How you doing?
Doing just super. Just running super late per usual.
That's okay. We're glad you're here.
What are we talking about?
We are currently doing part of a Q&A, and we're kind of bounce back and forth between that and news and some other topics. Because we're kind of making it about our audience tonight, so we're going back and forth with it. So we Hakeem asked, if I can find it quick.
Favorite NXT?
Who is your favorite NXT wrestler to cross over to TNA? Well, you don't watch NXT, so that might be kind of hard, but still.
I can name two off the bat. Sol Ruka and
she did better than you, J-Bone.
And what's her name? Paxton.
Oh, see?
Peyton.
Tatum Paxley.
Okay. Thank you.
Look at that. She did the same ones I did. I'm not saying you copied me. I'm saying,
I'm going with a non-wrestler, J-Bud.
Okay.
Well, She wrestles, but she hasn't wrestled in TNA. But
right.
I go with the liaison, Ariana Grace.
She's good. She is good. Her characters, it's like I said
It's her best friend.
Episode, it's fun watching her father, like, react to her, he's sheepishly so proud of her, and it's almost impossible for him not to show it. So it's fun. Yeah. All right. Let's bounce back to the what I was going to talk about. The should we call it the Tessa factor?
Oh, we're back.
We've been waiting. It's the long tease for J-Bone's opinion on this.
Right.
He's 37 minutes into the show, and he's finally going to talk about Tessa.
Right. It's oh, hey, there's David Penzer. Yeah, I know. I'm just delaying now. I am excited. I am excited about Tessa Blanchard. I'm not gonna lie, because I am a little anxious because of everything that happened in the past. But I read an article with an interview in it, and I'm gonna paraphrase Lance, who's with TNA. Lance
Storm?
Lance Storm.
Okay.
He was interviewed, and he was asked about her, specifically about Tessa. And he's like, look, I know her. I've known her for a long time. And I feel like everybody should have the chance to, get a second chance. And everyone has, room to grow. And he said some other stuff, as far as like, apologizing and whatever. And he thinks and hopes that it's going to go okay. So I'm kind of going on the same wavelength of that. I think it's going to go okay. I know a lot of people look at what happened with her exit and what's happened with other companies along the wayside. But, we also don't know all the details of everything. We can pretend that we know all of the stuff because we're wrestling fans. We don't. And honestly, I don't think we know even half the shit, that gets talked about out there. But so, I'm not going to say that it wasn't her fault. No, it's a lot of that stuff absolutely was her fault. So, we're going to have to just wait and see. It's at year's end now. A lot of people are going to be talking about that over, we'll just call it Christmas break or the holiday break, until we, get more new footage, info, whatever. But I'm excited for it, and it's and as far as people making it sound like, there's this mass exodus because of her.
Contracts end at the end of the year.
You need to get a new hobby if you honestly think that you think that there's some mass exodus because of a person, one individual.
I don't even think the dopey dirt sheets think that.
I've seen it so many people.
Well, that's random internet people.
It is, but I'm just saying that's just
that don't watch the shows. They don't watch.
It's just the stupidity of people out there. It's just why it's people like that just make fans like us look stupid. It's sad. It's So, I by no means am following that rhetoric.
Not following rhetoric.
No, contracts come and go. People come and go from every company in the industry. It's not just TNA. The only thing, and I've said this a billion times before, but I'll say it again just for the sake that it's the year-end show and it's happening now again, that we're having some people come and people go, is because TNA is a smaller company. When you have 200 people on your roster and you lose a handful of people, nobody bats an eye. It's facts, But you have a roster page this big, and you lose a row of them. Well, that's it. Train's going off the tracks now, man. No, I don't believe that. It is what it is. It just makes room for TNA to make new stars. Period.
All companies do it.
They all.
It just is the way everybody gets surprised when it happens and expresses outrage, and then they move on.
Yeah, but I'm not even really that surprised. Like a lot of people that the names that have come out, we're not really surprised, because you knew a lot of their contracts were expiring. Like Mike Bailey, we knew for months, but all of a sudden it became a story again.
Right.
They had already written him off TV. And then like Trent Seven, Kushida, Jade, obviously with the attachment to Josh, like these all who we knew was contract extension that they exercised was going to early next year. Jordan Grace shorted her deal a year ago. So like these were all known things for the most part. Yeah. But just like a couple of years ago with Willie Mack, like you get into it, PCO a year ago, your contract's coming up, you have discussions, you see if you're on the same page, if you're not, you re-sign, you don't re-sign. Like it's the wrestling business for a reason.
Right.
But since I know you did shout him out, J-Bone, but it is interesting timing. And all he's ripping me in his comment here, David Penn.
Oh no.
But from everything we're led to believe, there's an opening at ring announcer going in the next year.
Oh,
just saying. You got a legend here available. So
I've heard some people mention Christy Hemme might be filling those shoes.
She did it before. I don't know if that's what she wants to do. Like she's got the marketing role, but people with multiple hats in TNA would never be a new thing.
Right.
And it is kind of like a little bit of a throwback to some of the old days.
Yeah. And I think she did great before.
Oh yeah. No, she was very good.
She's got a great voice, and she can, like, that's the thing, is you gotta be able to project, So
you know me, you just give me someone that doesn't give pregnant pauses for one fall, and I'm all in.
Yeah.
But now you gotta have, once again, the ring announcers that just give it to you straight. Don't need to be there to put themselves over, unless you're Michael Buffer for a main event.
You're right.
That's what you're there for.
I see some stuff going on in the chat, and I know we've been a stickler for not talking about future things happening on the show.
Yeah, and that's how I addressed it on when we did the Thursday review, because it was making its way in the chat about spoilers. But since Moose has now addressed it, because the dirt sheets were running with it, then I will allow it, J-Bo.
Okay.
And that is pretty much
thank you.
Moose. Because the rumors going in there, which people were using reckless speculation from dirt sheets that didn't know what they were talking about based on bad, bogus fan reports of misinterpreting things with a storyline, that the X division was done. It was being retired. And everyone was running with that. TNA getting rid of the X division. How could they do such a thing? LOL, TNA. So Moose in the great, I'll tell you, I am at times not the biggest fan of social media, but one of the best things in the world is just to watch, like, just follow Moose on social media, because he does not care about, like, he'll offend people. He'll say whatever he wants. Like, he goes, like, if you say something in Moose's general direction, he'll usually address you. And he'll go right after you. And a lot of people do not like that. They get very upset about Moose going after him, the wrestling god. But yeah, he addressed how, like, bogus that was, which is a lot of the stories out there. Like, most obviously we had Daniel Spencer when Alicia and I were on the other day, pretty much saying how, like, bogus a lot of these reports about, like, the like all the contracts be, like, people were trying to go with the old the AJ Styles story from years ago, that they went up to everybody and said, "Oh, we got to cut all your deals. You're all getting reduced salaries." No, it's more like, was there a couple instances of people with contracts expiring and they saw them in a different light or role and offered them less than a new deal? That's sure. Because Scott D'Amore, like, I'm sure, signed some deals to the people to be like main eventers, upper mid-carders. And now the current management probably sees them. Maybe you're a mid-carder. Maybe you're a low-card guy.
They're going in a different direction.
Yeah, so, like, either they might not even be interested in bringing you back, or we'll bring you back, but maybe it is paid per appearance. Maybe it is on a lower rate. It's like, that happens. That's not really a big story.
It's, you got to remember, this is, everyone's part on the show of TNA is they have a job and someone is their boss. It's no different than I go to work and do stuff for my boss. Alicia goes to work and does stuff for her boss. Same with Bill. You got to remember, it's a job. Yes, they wrestle, and they can call them independent. I still don't understand what the hell an independent contractor is. Don't get me started on that. But anyways, it's like, you sign a contract, you work for them. So I don't understand this whole, no, I'm my own person and I can do what I want and go with it. This is your job. You work for these people and you're going to do what they want you to do. Period. I mean, a lot of these guys have some freedom to interject what they have an opinion. Hey, can we swing it this way? Or maybe I could try this. Stuff like that. But it's still your job. People forget that.
100%.
So yeah. But yeah, as far as the Moose stuff, it's, I don't know exactly what's happening with the title, but I imagine.
Yeah, I won't get beyond that. Just that it was, once again, it's dirt sheet BS. That.
Well, I look at it like we've seen it in different wrestling companies before, where someone gets a title, they say they're the greatest fill in the blank champ of whatever they're holding at the time. But then all of a sudden, but I got my own championship now. And then they throw their own spin on it. MJF had his own title. Bryan Danielson had his own title. I'm just throwing out examples. Well,
you could have stuck to TNA, J-Bode.
Well,
Jeffrey Hero Hardy had his own title.
Okay, but that run of his was horrible. I'm trying to just, I.
Whoops.
that was such a negative part of the company. I didn't want to,
Actually, in Atlanta, somebody had that belt.
Really?
That was not sitting far from it. Yeah.
The purple. I don't know what
the Immortal title.
The what?
Wasn't it the Immortal title?
Something like that. But yeah, it was purple and it had a weird, sad face on it or something. Yeah.
Wait, whose belt?
That was Jeff's belt.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the one that Anderson wore for a month and then gave back to him. It was like, poor
we
guy.
Just know this is all about the return of the Grand Championship.
Don't do this to me, Bill. Don't do this.
Moose, still the great. Well, Moose or Josh Matthews, the greatest Grand Champion.
I'll say Moose was, because he's the only one I remember.
Fair enough.
I just wasn't a fan of that whole, how it was. All right, your rounds are 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I like the setup. I thought the execution with the judges was awful.
Yeah, that was wonky as hell. Because the
bad part is, like, at least one judge wasn't even watching the match most of the time.
Yeah, he was just doodling on his book. So, but yeah, that just wasn't my cup of tea. But yeah, so look, I'm still looking forward to whatever Moose is doing. I'm sure whatever he does with said title is going to be wonderful.
Oh yeah. Oh, and speaking of Moose, in news, Moose trademarked the name Moose.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Oh, it's only been how many years?
So all the Moose out there, like in Canada and all, Roman,
better
pay that man.
Better lawyer up.
Better step up.
Get the lawyers. And wait a second. We were talking about Ash earlier. Is that one of the sound bites of the year? Get the lawyers?
It could be.
Oh, we'll have to find that one.
We haven't had them in so long. I almost forgot what they were.
What are these sound bites you speak of?
Sound bites?
Right. It's like I said, it's a work in progress, but I downloaded a majority of the videos so we can inject some classic sound bites, and then we can make some more of our own. So it'll work. We'll make it work.
Sounds great.
Oh, there you go. I'm not as familiar with my Archie and Jughead, but there's a Moose in Archie comics. So here comes the lawyers. Watch out.
Oh, Archie comics.
Not to age ourselves or anything.
Yeah, right. My goodness, are they still making those?
I think so.
I gotta imagine, since they had like that TV show recently, I'm sure like
Riverdale
more in vogue. Yeah,
Archie on drugs.
That's right, Riverdale. Well, Riverdale was like a modern spin on it, right? Or supposed to be.
It was something.
It was something.
It was like Archie fan fiction, but made a show.
Oh,
Archie fan fiction.
Yeah, that's the best way to explain it. It's like if you took Archie and put it in a very dark universe that kind of time jumped. It was really melodramatic. It's like Degrassi. It went there.
Oh, I always like a good Degrassi drop. But that, once again, when we say Degrassi, yeah, you have no clue what we're talking about.
I just shake my head at Degrassi because I never watched an episode. I have no clue what it is.
It's surprising because it started in your generation, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah, the original Degrassi's your generation.
Yeah, in the 80s.
Is it really?
Yep, wow. 80s into the 90s.
But it was a Canadian. Well, but it was Canadian. But I forget.
Oh, right, TV worked different back then.
it worked. But I still think it was on Nickelodeon back then.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because all the shows were coming out of Canada. But it is what it is.
Blame Canada.
Although, J-Bo, now, because I don't see a current question, but there is something I want to get your opinion on that you did not get to discuss.
We're going to be doing all the Hakeem questions tonight, but no, go ahead.
Yeah, all you're going to do is it's a you and Hakeem Q&A. What were your thoughts on are you aware of the Eddie Edwards incident?
The slap?
The slap.
I did hear about the slap, and then he said something in the camera afterwards. Yeah, I saw the clip once.
We're having fun now.
It would have been funny if he said, "Are we having fun yet?"
Did something like that.
Yeah, it's just, people, they get to they get a little too much liquid courage, and so what did the guy, he actually slapped Eddie?
Yeah.
I was just trying to, I know I watched that, but I was trying to think specifically what he did. So he slapped Eddie, and then Eddie slapped him back, or did he punch him? Or
Eddie slapped him back. Well, they were talking smack. Like he got up and was talking smack to his face while holding a beer over the rail. So he knocked the beer out of his hand, which any heel would do in that situation.
Right.
And then he slapped him.
He slapped him, and then Eddie slapped him back. Okay. Yeah.
Then he got the heave ho. But then, as Daniel Spencer, who was in our chat the other day, said,
I did watch that portion
anytime
of the show.
that happens, they will replace your drink.
They will replace
for all
your drink.
Rookies that don't know how to act at a show, which is no one in this chat, but in the wrestling world.
I've had glass busted on me, bro. Like I can't imagine just having a drink swiped and being enraged.
Yeah, we instead of that slap, we needed a signature Eddie chop.
Almost had my eye taken out by a flying fork.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, you go to deathmatch shows.
Go to deathmatch shows.
This is nothing.
Just to clarify,
I got taken out by flying barbed
like I've been hit by bloody human beings. Like
it happens.
Because listen, when you go to deathmatch shows, you're part of the show whether you want to be or not.
You be a couple rows back, you're still getting it.
Yeah,
you're gonna get covered in some kind of bodily fluid.
The amount of times like I've been to one of those shows and like hit the shower and was washing my doing the old hair and having little pieces of glass in my hair and head. But are you a tough guy?
But yeah, a beer getting swiped out of your hand. Okay. Okay.
Not enough of that.
But yeah, that just, I think Eddie's slapping the guy was fine. I don't think, he didn't wind up and,
it could have been worse. I've seen
worse. Exactly. It could have been a lot worse. He could have gave him a black eye, could have lost some teeth. That guy just is effing clueless. So, yeah. And so, yeah, I'm fine with what if if the question is, am I fine with whatever Eddie did? Absolutely. Eddie's a pro, but don't be stupid with the pros,
Don't be stupid. Well, you know what they say. You mess with the bull,
you get the horns.
Get the hordes.
That's right.
Foul. Isn't that what the kids say?
Papa. So yeah. And that was during during the tag match?
Yes. The tables match.
Can I ask, because like I said, I didn't watch the whole event, so I apologize, but did the Hardys retain?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Jeff was jumping off of high places.
Oh. I'm definitely gonna have to watch that one back.
Yeah, that's a must watch.
Yeah.
I gave that premium live event a very high ranking, J-Bud.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It felt like a big 4.
It had a big feeling, especially with as much people talking about it afterwards with the Tessa factor. Whether you love her or hate her or not, that was like some big news.
You had the Tessa return. You had the Hardys table match. Like pretty much like I was saying the other night, once it hit that knockouts match with Jordan and Rosemary through the end of the show, was just like, and the rest of there was very good stuff the other matches on the show, but like it really hit into a high gear the rest of the show. Like you had the buzz of the Tessa return, followed by like the tables match and all that going on into like the 4-way with Joe Hendry becoming the #1 contender through the main event. Like very good stuff. Very good stuff.
Sure.
The Masha and Tasha Falls Count Anywhere. Like very, very good show.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it had all very good watching points. And I gotta say, I'm gonna go back to Tessa just for a minute, just because I'm playing it back in my head again. When she showed up and she was, dressed in black, had the jacket and the ski mask on, and how brutal it seemed that she was on Jordan, I was like, man, this is epic. I'm like, you can't just have someone show up and a couple punches and drop kick or whatever. No, Tessa went in there, guns blazing, ripped her out of the frickin' ring, gave her a once over outside, threw her back in, put her in the whatever. What's her finisher called? You're gonna have to remind me because it's been a few years. Or is this a new one? I don't even know. It's not the Diamond Cutter. That's some other guy.
The Diamond Cutter should be.
Well, I know, like the diamond's her thing, right? She's a diamond in the rough. Or diamond is a girl's best friend, or I don't know. It's diamonds. It's diamonds.
You're getting all the diamond stuff going.
Right. We're covering it all. Disney and everything. I can't think of what it was. But anyways, yeah, and then she completely pie-faced Gia Miller. Thanks, Mayor.
Poor Gia.
Yeah, and then stomps and takes off down the ramp.
I suspected that Rosemary brought her in.
That's right. I heard you say that on the last show. I thought that point was very interesting because you made the point that Tessa did not attack Rosemary, that she didn't touch her. She specifically went after Jordan Grace because in theory she could have came in, stomped the mud hole in Rosemary, and then quick turn to Jordan Grace, and then completely like work her over.
Yeah.
And then it would have been like, oh, she's coming after the
women's division.
They wanted it to be completely relying on the fact that she went after Jordan Grace, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I get it. But I like that theory, though.
we shall see.
Yeah.
Because it's not like she has her own personal reasons, but it was just like a doorway in, especially because Rosemary's been lurking again, and it seems like every time she lurks, someone new pops up. It's like she brought in Wendy Chu the same way. She was in the rafters pulling the old sting.
Right.
Observing.
But they both had the same goal. It wasn't.
Well, okay, so let me tell you this, right? So who would also like to be champion again is also trying to become champion again, Rosemary.
Right.
I know, I'm probably being defensive of something I'm overanalyzing, but I really feel like that would be good storytelling.
Well, no.
Nothing to do with the undead realm. Nothing like that. It's just, hey, this is an opportunity because Tessa comes in and decimates everyone, and then it makes easy pickings for the Vulture.
Right. Because who did we talk about for at least half of the year of what it seemed like it was going to end up being
Rosemary.
anyways? Right. Exactly.
Because they did that vignette. They went through all that trouble. You know what I mean?
Right. So the Wendy Chu stuff didn't work. So then what do? You bring in
the big guns.
The big guns, yeah.
I never thought I'd ever have to use that statement. But yes. The big guns.
When I think of big guns, you think of like Hammerstone, but Tessa, just the way Tessa came in, you could call it using the big guns, just because, just how she walloped her. So yeah, no, I totally understand that, and I like that theory. It's going to be interesting just to see, because I honestly would like to see it go that way, because I would hate for all this stuff to go on with Rosemary, and then all of a sudden, big nothing burger with Rosemary.
Yes.
Like, oh shit, really? Because I think a lot of people wanted to see this feud. They wanted to see this match. Well, now Tessa's back. That's fine. Maybe not for everybody, but
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But I still want to see that match take place. I still want to see the end of the match. I still want to see the full Rosemary.
Well, this is also an opportunity for them to start building up their key players in the main women's division. They really got to start focusing on the gals who aren't teamed up and kind of separate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
it's a reboot.
It is a reboot. You're exactly right. It is a reboot for the division. Look who just also recently came back is Savannah Evans. Tasha recently came back.
So slots are getting filled.
You got some key players in there that are going to be going after Masha, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
I don't by any means want to see Masha be a transitional champ, but man, there's some interesting names in there that have come back.
We got to build it up, make it believable. We can't just keep going with the undefeatable, because then it's like ho hum. Every match they're gonna win. They're gonna win. So it's hard to really get invested in storylines that just kind of fall flat.
Right.
One person elevated.
Right.
It's good when it works, but sometimes you got to mix it up.
Yeah. Oh, here. Norris said the Hammerlock DDT. Chuckpedia said diamonds are forever. Yeah, I think that might be what it is.
That is
correct. We'll have to wait and see if they change it up. But yeah, I think that might be it. I'm trying to click off of it. There we go. Hakeem says 2024 wasn't a good year for the Knockouts division, in all honesty. Interesting.
Well,
interesting.
I gotta say,
it was a dominant year.
Kind of what happened at the beginning of the year. So, with that mix up with Scott D'Amore leaving, and then this is just kind of right. Am I getting my timeline screwed up?
Well, that did shake things up.
Yeah. So that was at the beginning of the year, though, right? Is like
right. Yeah, that was January, between January and February-ish. Yeah.
So we've been seeing a whole new set of people running the show for the last year. And I think they did a good job. I mean, who'd ever thought that TNA would have a crossover with WWE in any kind of fashion, let alone having their NXT roster participate, and vice versa. Who'd have thought that,
Yeah.
To thank Mickie James for opening that door with being able to wear the belt proudly for that first Royal Rumble that she showed up in, and then Jordynne Grace.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm just scrolling looking for questions and matches of the year.
Dates.
I hate that one because I've seen so many. I mean, you can pick a couple. I mean, like the ones that were on the show tonight certainly, stood out, like the Josh Alexander, Will Ospreay.
It was good match.
Or was that last year? Oh, was that this year?
I see.
That was the beginning of this year. That was in Las Vegas.
Oh, it happened TNA twice. Ring. It happened twice, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which one? Yeah, which one are you referring to?
Okay.
It happened in Chicago too.
That's what I was like. Oh, wait a minute. Because when I saw them advertise that, I'm like, well, they're advertising stuff from 2023, or are they? No, they're not. Yeah, I'd say one of those. Speedball had a bunch of memorable ones. I'm gonna be just really generic with that. I like this question better though. But come on, folks, let's. I want to get some more people with some different questions. I don't want Hakeem to get all the questions here, but he does have some good questions here. Who's your breakout TNA star of the year?
The breakout.
Heather Reckless, or Heather by Elegance, right?
Heather by Elegance.
Heather by any
I think it was really unique how they brought her in, and she ended up being a good pairing with Ash. Like I've said before, I'm big on them taking the belts from Danny and Jody. So not because I don't like Danny and Jody, they've been great, but it's time to switch it up. And I think they would have a very entertaining run because they're like a comedy act, but can be very vicious. Slapstick comedy. I don't know.
A little bit of both. You got a little bit of goofiness, and yet Ash has quite the violent side. So I think
Heather does too. So
right. So yeah, you can be a little silly with the character, but you can be brutal at the same time.
Fast, yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. Bill, what do you think?
I'm not going off the bottom of the roster or anything, but based on how over someone became from last year to this year, I got to go Joe Hendry.
Okay.
He's being chanted at other promotion shows that he's not
that's
on.
Interesting.
Like he went viral. So Breakout, he was like a digital media champion last year. So he was successful, but he's so by far broken out from where he was a year ago. He's one of, we've said it before, Jordynne Grace among the knockouts and Joe Hendry are about as big Like they're as big as almost anybody in the business right now, both of them.
Okay. I'm gonna pick someone that you're probably not gonna, you would not think me to pick.
Oh.
It's someone that I truly did become a fan of this year. You could say he had a resurgence of wrestling and character work. And I'm going to pick AJ Francis.
Oh, okay.
He was my next pick. He was my next pick after Joe Hendry.
Because let me tell you, and I'll put this like in the same boat, kind of like what WWE did with Rhino back in the day. And they had him sitting on a chair eating, bologna sandwiches with Heath Slater.
Love your bologna.
It's just like, and I've talked about that before. It's like, what are you doing? This guy is, how many year legend. And I get that you're having him do some goofy stuff and maybe comedic role or something, but man, you can do so much more than have him sit in the middle of the ring eating, these little sandwiches. What are you thinking?
It's embarrassing.
Thank you. It is.
How is that entertainment to anybody? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. So I look at the kind of run that AJ Francis had, especially his second run in the WWE, where all he was brought in to do was basically lose. And I legit felt bad for the guy because it was like, okay, you brought him back. Why did you bring him back? Don't tell me you brought him back to have him lose every fucking match and give him 3 seconds in the ring and, okay, go back to catering.
Yeah.
Really? That's ridiculous.
Agreed.
What AJ's doing in TNA is like eye-opening. I don't know how else to say it. His promo work, wonderful. Snarky as hell, well done. Charisma-wise, in-ring-wise, man, for a big guy, he can kick some ass. And he doesn't have to have a 5-star set of moves. No, man. When he's running from one ring or one corner to the next and gives the guy the knee and then like flips over and lands on his feet, for a big guy to do that,
yeah,
no big guy in the industry is.
Did you see his second row moonsault?
I might have.
I feel like I did, but yes, it's impressive.
Yeah, and he's not doing like all sorts of crazy aerial moves, which is fine. It's like, keep it big guy style. But he is doing some great work. And the fact that, he was doing great work with Swan before Swan took his sabbatical and now brought in Casey Navarro. And he and Casey Navarro work together like they've been teaming for like 3 years. It's kind of like Big Dog, Little Dog, the classic cartoon. What are we doing next? What are we doing next? What are we doing next? It's hilarious. I love it. It's classic. Casey Navarro is such a little goofball around him. He's such a little shit and snark, It's like, I love it. So, but yeah, AJ's. It took me a while. I'm like, okay, what is this? What are they gonna do with this guy? He showed up at this place. He showed up at this place. Oh, is he gonna stay in TNA? Okay, he's staying in TNA. It was not overnight, but from the time he debuted till now, I am absolutely a fan. So,
Yeah, they just had to find the right track for him.
And
I think they got there.
And it's just a combination of letting some of these guys just do their shtick. Like he was on a reality show of WWE's, so you can see he has talking talents.
Uh-huh.
He obviously could converse with these guys. He used to be in the NFL. Am I thinking that correctly?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
He was in the NFL.
So he was. So yeah. So he's got that history too. You know. So yeah. There you go.
Good work, Dave. Good work there, J-Bud.
And see, if I didn't have so many people in the wings waiting for championship opportunities, I'd have had AJ won a final resolution. That's how I would have booked that.
I would have been close.
I would have had him just clobber the shit out of Ziggler. Absolutely.
Nick Nemeth.
I love Nick Nemeth. He's one of my favorites of the whole year. Just the fact that TNA brought him in and let him be Nick Nemeth.
Let him cook.
Yeah, like
let him be himself.
The Joe Hendry title win would be better over AJ. So to give AJ a short run transition champion, to drop it to Joe would have been very, like, I was all bored with that angle. I think what we're going to see instead, and once again, I said I give it to Texas. We're getting the Joe Hendry title win involving the JBL angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if JBL's not part of the angle, and if it results in Joe Hendry getting screwed again, then just light the match at that point. But my guess is JBL either accidentally or something takes out Nick Nemeth, and then Joe wins at some point. But that's why. That's why it didn't happen, because they gotta have the JBL angle play out.
Yeah. Barry Monkey mentions Jason Hotch. I think Jason Hotch is going to have a great 2025. I think he is going to have a breakaway moment. I just don't know how it's going to happen because I like the good hands. I feel like Skylar's worked really well with him as far as being someone to kind of, you put a veteran with a rookie, which is something that TNA has done over and over again very well. So any other question, folks?
That might be the
and in the meantime,
get the last couple in there as we're wrapping up.
Yeah, we're coming up on about an hour and a half.
Well, there you go. Let's go with Clay's question here, J-Mode. What plans do you guys think had to have on to sell out these big arenas for 2025?
See, that's a tough one.
That's a wait and see.
But it's going to happen early. Like, you're talking multiple shows, multi-thousand seat venues. There's no one answer there.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot going on. Obviously, you got to book the shows. You got to have the right talent. You got to market it. You got to promote it. There's a lot of things going into these decisions.
You got to have.
And I know AJ was getting into it with people. I know one of the big debates this week was ticket prices for TNA shows.
Oh,
and AJ and all was getting into it with. So a lot of these things kind of come up into all this, but. Yeah, like I got to imagine like you're going to see some more members come in, as everyone's making a big deal about the expired contracts and all. I have a feeling you're going to see some other names pop in, maybe some surprising names pop in, to help generate even more interest. Because, like, when you're going to some of those venues, like when you're trying to sell out an NHL arena, is that where the WWE partnership comes back into play? Do you get AJ Styles for a night?
It's tricky because I don't know. Are they gaining the traction to warrant that size of a place because they've had trouble in the past? Not to be negative, but let's just be honest.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's such a short window of time that they're banking that on that I'm worried, but like curious. If that makes any sense. Like, I don't want to be negative about it because that's like such a positive movement, but you kind of look at your audience. Is it there without the help of NXT?
But the NXT thing, that gave them some momentum bump. But in the end, did that sell a ton of extra tickets? Potential NXT people showed up at shows? I don't think it really did. I think it garnered talking points and some interest. But the people that showed up on NXT, like Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry, like, they're the people that were at TNA shows for people to still come see. So I think in the end, that still played a part of it. But once again, like, they went bigger. Like, I knew they were going to go to bigger venues. I was surprised at some of the size venues they're going after. So they're, once again, they're going for it. Like, they're putting it out there. They're taking the risk. It could work out great. It could blow up in their face.
Yeah. And I don't, so people say, well, I'm nervous about this, I'm nervous about that. And I've said this, I don't know how many years in a row. I don't get nervous about wrestling. I am a little nervous about them being a little too ambitious with the seating arrangements. But hey, let's see what happens. I hope they do it. It was great to see them go back to that.
For sure.
I saw a clip tonight of something that happened at a NXT taping. I don't know where their last show was, but it kind of looked like a place like about the size of the Odeum, like about a 3,000, 4,000 seat arena. Not a super big place, but big enough to like really garner.
I think it was Lowell, Massachusetts. I think you're referring to.
Okay. But yeah, it was like a small-ish arena. Maybe I'd say about double the size of what TNA just did for Final. What is that place?
Center Stage.
Center Stage. Yeah, like 2 times that. I'd like to see TNA maybe go after consistently doing that for a while, but maybe they got something big they're holding tight to the chest. Maybe JBL's going to have a bigger role that's really going to like shock the world. Maybe this 23, I see some people asking about 23. Let's switch it over to the 23, because we're going to talk about what's going to be some big factors in 2025 that's going to reel these people in.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the 23.
I'd go with Alicia's initial thought. It's a 23andMe sponsorship.
Yep.
Sammy Callahan's going to find a long-lost relative.
Or PCO. I think that'd be funnier.
Or PCO.
Jiminy Christmas.
What are people? Baron Corbin. I'm like reading the chat. And
I still don't get the Baron Corbin stuff.
Well,
because the letters
his
B and C
her initials are.
Can he even still use that name?
No.
Or would he be Aaron Borbin?
He'll be a Barry
Borbin.
I don't know. Barry Carmichael. I don't know. Yeah, B is 2, C is 3. Yeah. Second and third letters in it. Yeah.
I was gonna go no, but maybe that's just my hopefulness that I don't see a fit with him.
Right.
I would love to see Baron Corbin get another chance at just being just some kind of like.
I feel he got his chances. Like he had a ton of TV time up north.
He did, but it was
not every run, but man, he was one of those hand-picked guys that they wanted to make something out of.
But that was the thing.
And the crowd never cared.
He had big moments, but in between all these big moments, they would have him, okay, now you're going to play a bum.
Well, yeah, I'm talking pre-bum. They tried to make him a serious badass, and no one cared.
But see, that was his most successful run, was when he was in NXT.
Because they were shoving him down everyone's throat.
Oh, I didn't think.
Like, he was like the Temu version of Roman Reigns back then.
Temu.
Whatever.
Temu.
Is Temu at SeaWorld?
I'm not sure.
Is that Shabu's brother?
That's close.
I'd rather him wrestle than Baron Corbin.
Fair enough.
I'll take the bump instead.
Well, it's safe to say that Bill is not a fan of it being Baron Corbin.
like if that's like a big reveal, and see, and what I think, like once again, we were talking before you got here, Alicia, about like they dodged Mercedes Moné's contract.
Yes.
Like Baron Corbin, I think would come here and get too much money for what he is.
Yeah, I see your point.
Like, I don't think you're paying him when you're paying upper mid-carders in TNA right now. And that's what I think he is, at best.
Fair.
You actually see that guy as a main event player with our main event scene right now?
I think they could build him up to one, but it wouldn't be like you come in and go after the champ. No way. That's why they're having him go after someone like Sammy. So I don't have a clue beyond that.
Well, that's assuming, again, that's just hypothetically thinking it's Baron Corbin. It could be anybody. They're not really pushing too much detail to really guess what it could be. Like, what a significant number. So their wrestler used to wear a jersey with the number 23 on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're whatever clues they're giving, which I'm not even sure if there has been any. It doesn't seem to be descriptive enough for anybody to be like, oh shit. So I think I was saying the other night, it's gonna be someone who's either gonna be super shocking or someone who's gonna be like Antiques Roadshow, where you're really excited at first and then you see who it is and it's immediate defeat. Shit. Like, I really thought I had a winner here, but it's this guy. It's a guy, obviously, because he's going to be feuding with PCO and Sammy. But
here's a guy that might turn some heads.
Go ahead, but and then I'll say mine.
But I think he's still locked in AEW contract. But I really don't know because he's been gone so long. I really have no idea. You hear little things here and there, but no. Go ahead, Lisa.
I was gonna say Jake Christ, but I don't know why.
He was around lately.
Well, he's still doing like explosion shows. He's on the latest one with Alan Angels.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know why I thought of him, but it's like, what if it's someone from Sammy's past? And so I'm thinking about like all kinds of people who would be from Sammy's past. So it could be Jay Christ. It could be
Fulton. It would make sense if it was somebody from Sammy's past. Like that would make sense. But
it
we'll
could
see.
be
They're
Havoc.
not giving
You
away.
know what I mean? I don't know.
They're giving a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. At this point, until they
It'll be
give us a
JBL.
little more, it's going to be just fantasy booking.
I think the most likely scenario still is, and I know Mayor has said it and other people said it, it's just going to be they show up at that live show, the 23rd.
For sure.
That was just the date. That's all that was about this whole time.
Lame.
Now, Critical Sting, I do like what he's hitting at here. You don't do these for just anybody. And then, like, before that, he mentions that, like, we're not going to have, like, an Ellsworth situation again. That's my worry.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hype up something big. That was supposed to be Jericho. Once again, like, people running with this stuff. And then you get Ellsworth, the chinless one.
How the hell do you hype up a possible Jericho thing and then get Ellsworth? That's just, oh my God.
I was there and I still am not sure.
Let's get Ellsworth.
Oh.
Like, you could have got a Gilbert instead.
It was complete Antiques Roadshow.
Gilbert would have been more entertaining. Shit. And there's some other like fun free agents out there, but I don't think it's anybody that they would do like a major promo thing for. Like Trevor Lee. If Trevor Lee shows up, you know,
the
Carolina Caveman.
Big fan of the Carolina Caveman. Although now he like looks like a insurance salesman. He cut his hair.
Oh, did he? Well, you know, as someone with long hair, I can understand that. Sometimes it's just got to go.
Yeah.
It's a lot to maintain. A lot of conditioner.
Johnny Swing.
Bring back.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know.
We'll see if they give more teases. I don't know. Trevor Lee, I just saw at MLW a couple weeks ago, so he's around. And he's former tag team champion.
Or didn't he win the lottery or something? I don't know.
Come on.
All right. Did you see any other questions?
I think that was the. Yeah. Everyone wanted to know about the 23. Here, let's because we're all big Lish fans.
Oh,
well, what are your thoughts on Lish Edwards' character growth in 2024?
I'm all for it. I think we're all for it. They had to do something with her, for fuck's sake.
Well, especially when you're gonna put guys together, like if you're gonna put, guys together, you got Moose and Eddie Edwards together, and you're gonna get her involved, and that all they were preaching was ride or die. And then there was a time when she was kind of like on the fence, like like what's happening here? But then, wow, I mean, she really did become that ride or die. She is 120% with Eddie, supports him in this group, everything. I feel like she's really done well.
Well, it's like, again, she was sitting on all this potential, and what were they doing with her? And now they gave her the opportunities, and she's done nothing but run and make, I was going to say, home run it.
Yeah.
Touchdown, 4. Like, she's, I think, nailed it. So.
Right. What's a win in pickleball called?
I'm trying to think of what. It's a Dillio. It's a Piccadilly. I don't know.
Is that really what it's called?
No, I just see your version of pickleball is, I think we talked about it before, is that I just picture people throwing pickles at each other.
Pickles.
The pickle, like, the, rind and all. So I don't know.
I think that's genius. I have no clue. I keep hearing that this.
I would watch it if it was in the Olympics. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God. So-and-so got a pickle upside their head. Does that call for a disqualification? What are the rules?
You get slapped in the face by Eddie Edwards.
That's a riot. But yeah, Alicia's done great. Neck brace was.
I keep saying rad. So. Clay said she needs a title run. She's very underrated. I keep saying that they need to throw her in the digital media.
Well, yeah,
and if she can win it from PCO, I think that would be fucking epic. Of course, it would be with the assistance of the system because, there's no I in team. But
there ain't no we either.
But it would be brilliant. You know what I mean? It's like Eddie and Alicia have prior beef with PCO, so they have experience, and I feel like they would secure an even better way to keep them down. So
I like it.
Feel free to take these ideas if you're, no need for credit.
Would love to see Megan Bain come to TNA. I see that name pop up. Is she like a growing indie star? Is that what that is?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, like that's somebody that's been out there, does a lot of like international across the world. So showed up in like multiple promotions. Like kind of like we were talking Camille earlier. Like she's taller. So I think a lot of people kind of have that same thought, like, and that's someone that was kind of very heavily rumored as like AEW developmental, while like over in other promotions, but then it didn't work out.
Oh wow. Huh. Well, by all means, yeah. Someone like Megan Bain, bring in that that I can't think of her last name. I seen her on a bunch of explosions. Maggie something.
Oh, Maggie Moore.
Maggie Moore.
Maggie Lee on the Indies.
Yeah. The carnival. That's funny.
People say you can make a good living down there.
Okay. Here we go. This is a good one. We do this one and then wrap her up. I feel like this is a good one to wrap it up with. Most never saw it coming moment, folks. Trucker People says, for me, it's Jordan in women's
Rumble.
Oh, okay. And then Hendry in NXT getting over. Oh, yeah, that is interesting.
Good moments. I guess I'll go on the more fresher thing, and I would say Tessa coming back to Impact. That's like a hell freezing over situation. So I feel like that's kind of where I'm at with that.
It's happened. You had a lot of events. Like you had Okada back in a TNA rig. Most people thought that would never happen. The Tessa returned. Thought that would never happen. Although I said that should happen for years here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one that started the year off because I was hoping for it, but I really didn't think it had a lot of weight behind it. Is Nick Nemeth showing up?
There you go.
You didn't think Nick was going to show up?
I thought for sure he was going to do stuff with his brother and just take it easy.
Well, he is.
Yeah.
Well, he is, but I mean, on a different stage. I'm like, nah, man, he's too.
But in the end, Nick, there would be no point to him going there and doing the same thing, like showing up for like a month on TV and then being on whatever random YouTube show.
Right.
Because he's a work rate guy. Like that's his whole thing. That's his shtick.
Right.
Like he wants to be on TV. Like at this point, and he worked enough. I don't think he's about the money. I think he's about.
Oh, he's got his platform. Money.
I want a platform.
He wanted to do what WWE wouldn't let him do. He wants to prove his worth.
Wants to be a wrestler, man. Like I feel like that's fair enough.
Exactly. He's like, hey, I am world champion material. Let me do this.
Absolutely.
And TNA looked at him and said, hell yeah.
We agree.
I'm sure they had the conversation of health and when's the last time you've been concussed and all that stuff. But he's been healthy. That's the thing. He's been healthy for how many years since he had that ill-fated World Heavyweight Championship run that he got from Alberto Del Lamo. And,
he unfortunately got trapped in an area where the people who were running the clown show were mentally impaired to a certain degree, that they were just making a mockery of their own company, knowing people were going to watch it anyway, so they put no effort into it. And unfortunately, he suffered from that. Right. A lot of people, look, we had Trinity come through, and she was able to show the world that not only is she an outstanding women's champion, but she's also, again, super talented in the ring because she was able to start doing things that they didn't let her do in WWE. Dana Brooke, or Ash by Elegance, that's another example, as she comes in and she's able to show a little more depth, that she's capable of doing all things. She's doing hardcore matches, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like TNA gives people the opportunity to reinvent themselves, but also elevate themselves.
Right.
Prove the worth. And I think that's great.
And Nick's been one of my favorite for years. I always wanted to see him get that opportunity again because he would have, take a phrase from Sheamus, but he'd have banger after banger out there, just killing it, promo-wise, just heart bleeding in the ring promos. And it's like, why? And now he's here in TNA, and I'm like, man, he showed up. I had goosebumps. I'm like, let's go. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I didn't think it was possible. So, yeah, to have him be champ for, half of this year, not quite, whatever it was, and just knocking it out of the park, looking great every time he does it. Made me a very happy TNA fan. I'm like, hey, you guys brought in one of my favorites. I got nothing to complain about. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Good job, Nikki.
Good job, TNA.
Yeah. And again, that's wrapping up. It's like, look at the shift of hands of who has been running the show from Scott D'Amore to who's doing it now. And I feel like with a year under their belts now, officially, they've done a pretty good job. And again, like I said earlier, they managed to do a crossover with WWE. And I know Scott kind of started that, but they were able to follow through and make it bigger.
Yeah.
It's like, again, having our people show up there and be successful. I feel like it was a fair trade compared to other companies we've worked with. Everybody looked good in the long run. So, good job. Good year in TNA, I think.
Yeah, I'd say for both, if you look at two brands like NXT and TNA really growing by leaps and bounds and continuing to do so, good for them,
For sure.
Now we just got to get TNA on in a bigger market somewhere. And I'm not saying necessarily cable. I saw someone commented on one of our last shows, said, yeah, put them on Prime or something like that. I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? It's something, something different, something that, I don't know. There's got to be some better way to get get more eyes on the product, because the talent is there. It's just,
that's the goal.
It's getting there. I mean, again, it's getting there. I think it's a slow move in a new direction, and the wrestling landscape is always changing, so they're making hurdles.
And this is probably the biggest song of the year right here. Just everybody singing along. To say his name and he appears. I believe in the J-Bone. Oh, sorry.
Song of the year for me was Eric Young's new music.
Yeah, good stuff.
It's great stuff. It's a good band.
Thank you, Styles. Love you.
And with that,
yeah, like my wife says, kill it before it spreads. Thanks a lot, babe. Thanks.
Ugh.
Thanks. Gosh. All right.
Well,
so
on that note, then that concludes.
That concludes 2024 for TNI. So thank you, everyone who has watched. If you've watched for a little bit to you've watched for years.
A lot of it.
Yeah. Either way, thank you so much. Quietly putting stuff in the chat. Whatever you've done, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you for it. And how I wrap up a bunch of our shows. Hey, smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of our content hits your screen. We're going to hit the new intro / outro, and we will see y'all in 2025. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and or whatever you folks celebrate out there. Stay safe. Hug your loved ones. We'll see you soon.